Hello, and welcome back to Single Sounds. I'm your host, Katie Mack, and this is the podcast that helps you find positive dating experiences. This week's character was so enthusiastic. Her energy when telling stories is so infectious, and I love how she doesn't take herself too seriously. Welcome to Single Sounds, the one with dentist dramas.
Hello, lovely to be on.
We're very happy you're here, so let's start with your who, what, where. So who are you attracted to?
I'm all straight, baby, so men, yes, definitely men.
Okay, good. So what are you looking for?
Okay, so my age range is around 26 to 31, so a nice 5-year range there. Ideally, and I know everybody says this, every female is like they need somebody taller than me, but I always wear these shoes. So if anyone knows me, I always wear flat form shoes. So like flat form trainers or like Doc Martens that are chunky, and that puts an extra few inches. I'm 5'6", so I would usually say 5'10" is my absolute minimum. But if they're really sexy, I might waver that.
You can take off the shoes.
Yeah. I'll just turn barefooted all the time. Also, nice hands, that is a big thing for me. And anybody that's matched me on Hinge can vouch for this because, in your little prompts, I've got nice hands in there and they need to be big, soft, well kept, and no nail biting. And it's really annoying because every boy that I match is like, oh, is that because like something sexual? I'm like, no, I just need nice hands. When you just look at a nice pair of hands,
yeah,
it's important. And then finally, somebody that doesn't mind that I'm an absolute crisp monster. So recently I've got a lot better, but at the height of my addiction I actually ate about probably 2 packets a day every day, which is terrible. And somebody that I used to see actually would be like, before I had any crisps, he would have his share because he knew as soon as I'd opened them they were gone. So I'd have to hand them over to him. If I'd bought them, I'd be like, Kiko, take your share.
Like a big pack?
Yeah,
like
big pack. And I would
packs.
go through the whole thing easily one sitting, and he used to like turn around and be like, oh, quite fancy crisp now, all gone. So somebody that doesn't mind that or just hates crisps, somebody that just hates crisps, and then
I don't really like them,
arguments.
so that would work.
Let's go out then. And then where? Definitely central London. This girl's busy. So central London. I don't mind going south of the river. I know everyone flags, oh, if you're east or north or whatever, everyone's like, absolutely not crossing over that bloody river. But
you're fine.
Yeah, I'm all good. I'm happy to do it. I'm happy to do it for love.
I agree. I mean, I don't get the river thing as much, but
also my sister lives in Peckham, so if you live near Peckham, I'm happy to pop in.
Good. Yeah, that leaves it quite broad.
Yep.
The hands thing's interesting. I wonder if people actually know how to assess their own hands.
Well, you know what? People reply to me like, oh, they're big, but I've got calluses on them from the gym.
The gym. I was just about to point that out.
Does that bother you? And just the word callus bothers me. I don't even get to like the stage of thinking of their hands and what they might look like. It's that word. So I'm like, no, that does bother me, and I'm not going to be replying to you.
You can wear gloves though in the gym if it was like a real issue. If you found someone that was a gym goer, because even I've got them and I wouldn't say I'm a gym goer.
Pumping those away.
Yeah.
No, to be fair, I mean, if they're willing to wear gloves in the gym, then I can.
You can do it.
I can get over it.
Yeah.
I can,
It's good to know though. We need to know these things. Right. Let me know your 2 truths and a lie.
Okay, so I raced against Gary Lineker through airport security and I won. Okay, so when you're sort of at the front of the line and you're vetting out the area and you've got that little attendant that's sort of telling you where to go, and I'm going, no, I'm picking my own queue, and I see Gary Lineker next to me and he chooses the slow one, obviously. So he might be able to take me on the football trophy front, but he will not be winning on the airport security front.
That's crazy.
So my second one is I have around 7,400 pictures on my phone and 3,625 photos are of my dog.
Okay.
And finally, I've broken or snapped my front teeth in half 3 times across about 4 or 5 years.
Oh, a lot of numbers in there.
I know.
Numbers are tricky. It could have been twice with the teeth,
Yeah, exactly. I played this game before.
I know. Haven't we all? Right. Gary Lineker thing, that's got to be true. I mean, lots of people have tried with celebrities, but that scenario is just quite specific. Yeah, I'd be impressed if you made that up. Yeah.
Okay.
Wait, I'm still going. Got 2 numbers, so that's difficult.
Yeah.
I know you love your dog. That's okay.
Yeah.
I can see that. It was basically half, so.
Yeah, which is slightly tragic.
I mean, I think if I had a dog, I'd be the same. What was the last one? I forgot already.
I've broken
the
my
teeth. Yeah. I know you definitely have, at least once. I feel like maybe it was twice, but I do know once you break them, then there's a weakness there.
You are so right.
I'm gonna go the dog one slightly wrong.
It's a lie.
That's a lie, yeah.
No, it's not. I'm obsessed with him. No, the lie is Gary Lineker. It's like a half lie. So I saw him in the airport,
but you
and
didn't
chased him probably.
Right.
But I didn't race him. He definitely didn't lose to me, and probably never will.
Shame. I was quite excited to talk about that one.
I know. We can talk about the tooth one. Yeah, this is a good story. So the first one, hockey tour, fell over, was super drunk. All my friends say I ate a curb. So I literally, when you're too drunk, your arms are just not putting, like, you are not supporting yourself. You're not like crashing your fall. And I just went plop like a like a plank of wood and ate a curb. So teeth either side of this corner of the curb, broke like 3 of my teeth in half and didn't have any recollection. And then the next one is I just got that sorted. And then Max, who we were at grad ball, and he came over and he put his arm around me and he had this bottle of wine in his hand and he just threw it into my face. In half again, just the one this time. And then finally, I think this was about 2 years ago, I went away in Cyprus and I bit into a churro. Obviously you're thinking this is soft, these teeth, they're gonna be intact after I eat this churro, but no, broke my tooth in half again. What? Well, it was slightly overcooked, so it's not just that my teeth are gonna fall out at any moment, so don't worry. they're stuck in there now. But yeah, luckily I have a good old dentist, so you wouldn't be able to tell.
No, you can't tell at all. It's really impressive, to be fair. Yeah.
Smiling at you now.
Yeah. Wait, sorry, the churro, as in it was hard?
So it was slightly overcooked. It was this horrible all-inclusive that me and my friend, it was like one of those holidays where you're like, I'll just book it. It doesn't matter where I am. As long as the sun is shining and there's a sunbed and there's a pool, I'm okay with that. And we didn't obviously look at the reviews correctly. And yeah, it was just a horrible, horrible food, horrible hard churro. And the best bit was I obviously was like, what the fuck? Churros are not meant to be hard.
Yeah.
And I had to spend half all my holiday photos on like me with this huge gill. It's like I've got like a baby tooth next to a grown adult teeth. It's horrendous. And I went to the hotel manager and I was like, this is a churro. So I took the churro and I kept it for months because I was like, I might need this for insurance. So I was like, when I was packing my bag, as I go home, I was like, where's the churro? Must be in my bag.
Was it gone mouldy?
No, it was actually hard. It was all right, which shows how much sugar and shit that was probably in there. But she was like, for sort of hotel insurance purposes, you need to go to the dentist and just say that, so he can basically confirm that it's happened in the vicinity and it's the hotel's fault and it's just for insurance purposes. So off I went to this random place and it was like whitewashed, and this old man that looked, who I can only describe as like Albert Einstein look. Okay. He comes out his little glasses and like lab coat, and I was like, what is gonna go on here? And he puts me on this little it was like a really ancient chair, in like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, when he gets in that thing, gets a horrible brace. It's like that kind of chair. And I was lying there and my friend Jess was next to me and she was looking at me like, we need to get out of here. And I was like, so she was like, the hotel manager was like, you don't need to have any treatment, it just to prove that it's happened here. So I was like, why is he getting all these tools out? And then I was like, no, what are you doing? What? No. And so I was like getting out of the chair. I was like, no, because obviously his patchwork would have been horrendous. And I got back to the hotel and I was like, I'm going to go to the insurance about emotional distress and all these kind of things. And I was like, you're done for. I called my mum. I was like, they tried to make me saw my teeth out here.
Oh my god!
But it's a good story now.
Okay, let me know your moan of the moment.
Okay, so it's very moany, but it's when you go on holiday. So you've had this holiday booked and you're so excited, and obviously the wind down to holiday from work is horrendous. Everybody knows that week prior is awful. And it's when, you spend a whole day on a detailed handover and you meet with whoever you need to meet and you're like, this needs to be done, deadlines, this is what you need to do. And you're literally step by step. You come back from your holiday and they've done one thing. This is the worst moment of the moment. I just think it's horrendous. It's like, and when somebody gives me their handover, I'm furiously like highlighting, I've done that. Because I think there's nothing worse than then just having a handover and doing nothing. It's really irritating. So that is my moan of the moment, but it's probably a moan of forever.
Forever, yeah. I don't think that changes.
It's always going to happen.
No, I've had it definitely before. You go on holiday and you think like, oh, they would have moved on. Like they're definitely on this next section of the project. And you get back and they're like, no.
Yeah, they're like, sorry, too busy. And it's like, okay, well now I'm actually 2 weeks behind where I was. So I've got to catch up. And then, you know, it's just horrendous. I think if you do that, you're a bad person.
Moving on to bad people.
Yes.
Let me know your worst dating story.
Okay, so, and this wasn't so much to do with the person, it was more the situation.
Yeah,
so
fine.
I was seeing this guy in second year, and we were sort of getting down and dirty, as
Keep it PG.
as my mum would say. And let's call this guy, we'll call him Bruno. And I won't go into too much detail, but basically amongst the passion, Bruno ended up dislocating his thumb. And and we popped it back in again and continued whatever we might have been doing. And then my arm was sort of like above my head. God knows why it was there. Don't know. And like in the air. And I used to have this chest of drawers, which was probably about like 4 foot high. And there was a full stein of water on the side. And I obviously knocked that and it came crashing into my head and fully soaked of water. I had like a huge egg on my eyebrow, absolutely soaked. And I was obviously, it was quite early on with this guy, so I looked horrendous. I was like mascara all down my face. I was like, it's fine, we can carry on. Yeah, it was absolutely carnage. But you know how heavy that those steins are. You know, if you've ever been to Birkella, those steins are so heavy, and it wasn't as big as the ones you get there, but it was.
But when they're full,
it was a bloody boulder to the eye. So that is my worst dating story. And to be honest, like actual dating, I've never had that many bad experiences or really good experiences. So
it's like mediocre.
Yeah, they're just so average.
Fair enough. I don't know what I'd prefer, to be fair. Like the really bad ones are fun after, but in the moment they're so bad.
And I almost feel sorry for them. And I don't know if that's a me problem, but my friends from home will just be like, oh, sorry, I've got to go. Like I've got something else to do. Something's come up. I don't have the heart to do that. So I'm sitting there thinking, you know, even I've never had an awful date, but I have had ones where I've instantly known I'm not feeling it, and I've sat there through like probably 5 hours worth of the day. And it's like, you just don't need to do that. You don't need to sit there. You owe them maximum maybe 3 hours of your night.
That's quite a lot.
Some of my dates have lasted like 7 hours. Like, I'm getting home at like
the
3:30.
The good ones like do, and then you end up talking about, you're like, oh, we've been together for like so many hours.
We're in love.
But the bad ones, I'd say the quickest I've left is like an hour and a half.
See, what excuse have you used?
I think,
tell me. Yeah. Teach me the ways.
Sometimes I am bad. Sometimes I do go to the loo and get my friend to ring me and then be like, oh, I've got to go.
That's so obvious. That's the worst one, Katie. No.
Oh, but then I think you tie it in. You're like, okay, I've got to go, and also I'm really not feeling this.
I hate you. I actually saw this girl on TikTok, and she'd basically faked a COVID result. And it wasn't even the right test. It was like a lad, she'd put like, she was drunk, she typed it, and it was like, your lateral flow is positive. And obviously if she's there, he's clearly going to be like, you haven't just done a lateral flow, because it would have been a PCR.
Like, because that would be instant.
Exactly. What a bloody idiot.
So stupid.
Hilarious.
I've heard people say that they've been in contact with someone with COVID, so that they can't go on the date if they don't want to go
now there's
before.
no restrictions, so no one can use that idea, can they?
I guess you could still say, like, I don't want to give you COVID.
True.
Look like you're doing
I'm
a
so
really
moral.
good thing. Yeah, exactly. Funny. Okay, let me know your most irrational fear.
Okay. My most irrational fear is slightly controversial because I know it's getting popular at the moment. But absolutely anybody that goes bouldering as a hobby, and apologies if you have done that.
Bouldering, interesting.
So you know when you're climbing like indoor walls. So, and it doesn't matter how gorgeous you are, that is an instant ick. I am terrified of you. Like, I'm actually terrified of you. And I think it's like the shoes that they wear, you know, the ones when you're a child and when you go on beach holidays. Admittedly, I did actually wear them like 6 years ago with my friend Georgia, and I was so embarrassed. But those shoes that, you know, the walkie sea ones. And I
don't actually know what they're called.
Yeah, like, what are they called? Sea shoes?
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway,
water shoes.
Yeah, water shoes. And it's the chalky hands. Like, you know, I've got an obsession with hands. So chalk all over the hands. Just no. And also the fact that everybody that boulders has to take a picture from behind, hanging off the wall like Tarzan, and puts it on their social media or their dating apps. Yeah, everybody does it, don't they? And it's like, I don't want to see those horrible shoes hanging in front of my nose, thank you. Keep that to yourself. But I actually have another irrational fear.
Two.
But yeah, sorry, double irrational fear. But actually I think it's slightly more rational. It's when, you know, I don't know exactly what it's called, but I think it's like London Tube Spotted or something like that. And it's a Twitter page that takes pictures of people eating on the tube, and like people submit that, not the actual Twitter page takes pictures, obviously that's not the case, but people take pictures of random people eating horribly and like tube, all those kind of things. And you know, I just think there is nothing worse than the idea of me sort of eating a Greggs saucy roll. I can't believe I just said saucy. Greggs sausage roll with like pastry mouth, which inevitably happens. Like it's all over you, it's all over your chest, it's in my hair, it's everywhere. And I just think, horrendous.
On the tube,
so I'm when I'm sat on the tube, I am looking all around. I'm like, who's stalking me? Who's got their camera out? Which is why I also loved masks, because you could just hide behind those.
Wait, so you do eat on the tube, but you're scared someone's going to take a photo?
Yeah. So I selectively choose what I eat, what I allow myself to eat, because some of the things are just terrible. And sometimes you're just starving, you know, when you're on the road on the way to work, and I've got like, sometimes I take my piece of toast on there and I'm like and I'm like, I can't have any toppings that will get my mouth, like Marmite or anything like that, so I'm butter only in the morning.
That's so funny. So funny you think about that.
I know, it's so in my head. I just can't do it.
I do think that's quite irrational. I would not assume I don't really like eating on the tube, to be fair. Like you, I'd make sure it was something I could kind of snack on, like crisps. That maybe would be okay. Is it because you know someone that's been snapped, like papped with this?
I actually do. Maybe that's it. So a shout out, Mary. It happened to her, and she put it on her Instagram, and it wasn't even that bad. I think it was like a tuna sandwich or something, which isn't terrible.
It smells is probably what they say.
Yeah, they probably sniffed it out from a mile off. Like I'm running down with a mobile phone. But yeah, so it's happened to her, which is potentially why I think it might happen to me.
Yeah.
But maybe I should just give up eating on the tube. It's a bit gross anyway, isn't it? With all the germs.
I don't know. I'm not really a germaphobe, so it wouldn't bother me. I eat stuff off the floor. Not the tube, but
off the floor,
at the home. If I just if I drop it and just pick it up quickly, that's no bother to me.
Yeah, but I can get with you on that.
Now, let me know your stop, start, continue.
Okay, my start, quite boring, but learning to dance if you can't. So one, I love to boogie, but also one of my best friends claims that he taught me to dance in first year. Yeah, so I can hook you up with some lessons if you need them. Yeah. No problems. And then my stop is another tube related point, but running for the tube with a backpack on. You know, when it's like bobbing up and down furiously. And that's just not just applying, obviously, in this scenario, it applies to a male, but like male, women, child, anybody, just don't run. There's going to be another tube in 2 minutes. There's no need for that.
So these are the bobbing actions. Yeah,
it's
really
purely the bag. It's purely the bags, and sometimes like their jacket's caught underneath, and it's like it's just terrible. So that, and then continue is letting me sing the wrong words to sort of absolutely every song that I know or think I know. So my favourite song ever is Fantasy by Mariah Carey, and I actually recently found out that the words were, but it's just a sweet, sweet fantasy, baby. And I was thanks. And I was singing, but it's just a sweet, sweet medicine, baby. And one that just doesn't make sense. So how could I get that so wrong? And yeah, the clue is also in the title. So yeah, I just sing the wrong words to absolutely every,
and just make them fit.
Yeah, I just, as long as it's to the right tune, doesn't matter what the words are. I don't think so.
Yeah, no. I mean, normally you're in a place that's loud enough, you can't even tell.
Yeah.
You just look like you're doing well with the words.
Yeah, or it's like that one person that goes to a concert and they've never seen the act, so they're just going with their mouth. Everyone think I'm just doing that.
Just trying to look like you know.
Yeah.
Have you seen that Peter Kay sketch? It's like literally one of my favourites. He goes through all the really classic songs. And like he says what he thinks the lyrics were or should be. I'm trying to think of a good example. One of them is like, suck your cock at night. And then it's obviously not. I don't even know what it is.
I can't remember, but I have seen that.
It's really funny.
Yeah. And it's amazing how many people are wrong as well, because me and my housemate, we actually discussed fantasy because we play it on repeat in this household. So it's always on. And she sung the same lyric as me. So it actually does sound like medicine. It's not big. I'm not me just being really ridiculous.
Yeah. No, sometimes they aren't very clear. Like as soon as he said in that sketch, it's going to be this. You can't not hear it. It's crazy. That was very succinct. You did that very quickly. You went boom, boom, boom. Stop, start, continue. Ready. Okay, let me know what your TED Talk topic would be.
Okay, this one is recognizing someone that you don't even know. So one, I think this stems from me being an absolute stalker. Like, I just find myself in, like, on social media, I find myself in, like, an absolute hole. I'm jumping from profile to profile. I'm like, oh, I know you. I'm like 3 times removed from this person, but I know them. I know their full name. I know what their dog's called and all this kind of thing. So I'm really good. And it's not just, like, memory. It's, like, just seeing somebody and just knowing their name instantly, but they have no idea who I am. So, I mean, it makes me sound terrible and really scary.
Do you speak to them, though?
Oh, well, I have a story which is sort of attached to this, and it's like me and my housemate were queuing for Old Street Records a couple of weeks ago, and I turned around and I was like, I know that boy. And the only reason why I knew him was because he has these really piercing blue eyes, and I've obviously never spoken to this boy in my life. But I knew him. And I turned around and I said, are you Joe? And he was like, yeah, why? And I mean, the reason why I knew is slightly crude because he actually sent a dick pic to my friend about about 8 years ago, but I still remembered, and she'd obviously showed me said dick pic, and
and who it was
and
from,
a slightly nicer photo of his face, and and I knew him instantly, and I turned around, I haven't seen a picture of him for about 8-9 years, and I turned around and I was like, are you Joe? And I was gonna say his last name, but I won't out him. And then all his friends were like, how do you know him? And I was like, oh, just seen his dick pic. And then said it back, and he was very very weirded out, but he was like, that was like 9 years ago. How do you know who I am? And I was just so embarrassed then. I was just sort of like trying to hide. Although, should I be embarrassed or should he? I think him.
No, I'm glad you say that, because I have a really bad habit of doing the same. It literally happened to me on the bus the other day. You know, there was a tube strike.
Yeah.
So everyone was on the bus and this girl got on the bus and I was like, I know her, but I don't. I've never met her before in my life. And it's so similar. It was my very first boyfriend's school friend. that I just stalked on social media. Basically.
And it makes you feel so weird because you're staring at them for ages and you don't know whether to smile because is it a real friend or is it just my friend that I, in my mind?
I knew she would have known who I was at the time, but literally like 10 years ago. I haven't changed that much, I don't think. And neither did she. But I was like, she's probably forgotten, like, I completely exist. I wasn't even, like, connected to her really. But it was making me really uncomfortable that I knew. And they sat, like, directly behind me on the bus. And it was her boyfriend who I also know from stalking social media. So I was like, oh no.
Double whammy.
I embarrassed myself even further. So I was like, I'll wait until my stop. They just got on and I'd been on the bus for a while. My stop was like a few more. So I was like, right, when my stop comes, I'll say, I know this is going to be really weird. I started with like, I'm going to sound like a crazy person, but are you blank? And she like smiled and she was like, oh yeah, you're Katie. Like, and it was, she did recognize me, even though we've never met. So that's why I was like, oh, it's not just me then.
That's not that embarrassing then, I suppose.
But then I made it worse. It was all going well. And then I because I felt comfortable instantly that she,
boyfriend?
I was like, oh, I actually recognize you because of your boyfriend. And then she was like, I feel a bit like offended now. And I was like, no, it's in like, I recognize you first, but then he like solidified it. Yeah. But then she was probably like, why the fuck are you stalking us?
I bet their like pillow chat that night was brilliant. They were like, what an absolute weirdo.
I thought like as soon as I got off the bus, I did like a little like, you know, when you try and walk like a bit more confidently.
You're strutting off. Like,
I live
you know me.
Because I was like, I bet they're looking out the window being like, what the fuck?
Walk and never come back, Katie McNamara.
I'm glad you also had to say though, because I really had to say.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. And actually, funnily enough, he messaged the recipient of said dick pic the day after, like 3 times, like, why are you telling everyone about my dick pic? It's like, darling, you were probably like 15 then. Like, it's forgotten. It's fine. Well, it's not forgotten.
Oh my God, that's pretty crazy.
I know.
Yeah, that's quite wild, actually, to then message her and being like, how dare you show my dick pic from 9 years ago.
Really? 8 years ago? Like, really?
But like you said, she was so young. She probably didn't even know what to do with it. She's probably like...
I mean, to be fair, I think if she received another dick pic at this grand old age, she would still send it on to me.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to defend her there.
I mean, people are idiots. Like, if you're sending that stuff, like, it's going round.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, it might not... They're not
maybe not sent to other people,
but shown. Yeah, exactly.
That's why you've got to get the best angles. You've got to be looking great. Best underwear, or not underwear in his case, but like just looking brilliant.
Yeah,
it's essential.
and no faces.
You never know where that's ending.
If you're gonna, just in case they do forward it on, and I don't know.
Yeah, and actually, one of my close friends recently revealed that she'd taken a dick pic, not dick pic. Well, could be, but no, in this case, not. She'd taken a picture to send to this guy that she works with, and she obviously has a big group of work colleagues, and was like, it's slightly risky. They're only just early on in their stages of like flirting and like, what is this? And so she said that she'd removed like all evidence of anything on her bed, so her pillows, her duvet. So she was lying on like just a white sheet. She'd taken all of her jewelry off, her watch, and like everything. She was like, she just needs to be fully like unrecognizable.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, but and then I was thinking, actually, if I saw that picture, would I know it was her? And obviously I haven't seen her naked, but I was like, I probably could guess.
Tell,
yeah. So I was like, surely other people will, but who knows?
Okay, leave me a one-word review of yourself.
I'd probably have to say enthusiastic.
Okay.
And I know that makes me sound really, really, when somebody is sort of really shit at something, but they try really hard. Yeah. That is the word you would use. I'd be like, oh, bless them. Like, they came 16th in sports day, but they were really enthusiastic.
Yeah. That's you.
That's me. So in all aspects of my life, I think, at work, all my performance appraisals are like, you're doing well, like you're really enthusiastic. And I'm like, that's shit. So that's not a good thing. But they're obviously trying to twist it as a positive.
I think that is a good thing, though.
Do you think in all cases?
I'm trying to think like when it would
be
bad.
Or like that annoying person that's like, hi.
Yeah.
Hi. What can I help you with?
Maybe they're trying to tell you to chill out.
Yeah, maybe they're just like,
I don't know. I'd rather work with someone that was enthusiastic though and then not care. Yeah. Like that's really annoying.
Yeah. So you'd rather work with somebody that is enthusiastic but gets everything wrong. Not saying that I do that, of course.
Yeah. No, yeah, when you put it like that, I'm guessing you're not rubbish at everything.
No. I think I'm doing all right in my job, but I just think there's something more to that I know they want to tell me, but they're just not doing it. So it's enthusiastic, but yeah. I don't know what the but is, so I'm going to take it as just enthusiastic. And I just think that's a shit word, but that's probably the one word that I'd use.
I just realised, the reason it sounds bad, I think it's because in some contexts it comes across as you're like keen in a bad way, like over keen, like over trying to please, maybe like a people pleaser. I don't know.
Yeah, and even in a dating scenario, oh my God, she's so enthusiastic.
Exactly, she's texting me like every second of the day.
And boys love saying that, don't they? Like, oh my God, she just needs to chill.
Yeah.
That's me. I'm like, it's been 1 minute, why has he not replied? No, I'm joking.
Let me know your low-key flex.
Okay, so my low-key flex is... It's a bit of a tongue twister, isn't it?
Struggled there.
Low-key flex is definitely... And again, it makes me sound shit, but it's for good reason. It's complaining. And it's complaining where it's due.
Oh, right.
So not like complaining about everything. It's complaining when there's a reason to. So the dentist story that I told you earlier. So when I got home, I have, composite bonding on my teeth now. And I'll have to do that throughout the whole of my life. Every 5 years, I have to get it replaced. So I worked out like my average lifespan. And was like how much it cost me at my dentist that over my life. And then I was like, and emotional distress for like being assaulted by the crazy Albert Einstein dentist. Like I'm getting that dollar. Yeah, I was absolutely horrified. And I just came up with this great big list of like things that they owed me. And I submitted it to my insurance company and they were having none of it. And I was like, no, I'm going to carry on. So I was like, my sister, she's a solicitor, and I got her involved at this point. And we composed this great big like fully official letter and sent it to the hotel, the insurance, and they ended up paying me like probably like $3,000, I think, $4,000 for nothing.
Amazing.
For nothing. And I was like, thanks. And then there's another story that's like Dave, I don't know if he'll mind me saying this, but he didn't pass first year. God bless you, Dave. So at the end of first year, he messaged us over summer, and he'd been like, oh, you know, I'm not coming back to university. But the funniest thing that he'd told us 2 months earlier, he'd said that he had passed and he'd smashed his exams. So we were like, oh, we're all going back in second year. It's going to be so fun. It's going to be amazing. This is the best year. And then he messaged us over summer. He was like, oh, by the way, guys, I've enrolled at Huddersfield University today. We were like, what? Anyway, so he ended up losing his place at Nottingham University. And I wrote this long old email to his personal tutor and was like just basically complaining about certain things and, you know, do my thing, and ended up getting his place back.
No way.
Yeah,
that's insane.
I know he owes me a lot. Complaining is absolutely my low-key flex.
Yeah, and you're right, it's when it matters. Not like all the time, not a Karen. But... yeah,
I'm absolutely not a Karen. I may be a Sharon, like just sometimes Sharon.
Okay, bestie rec time.
Oh no.
Here we go.
The amount of stuff I could say about my dear friend, guys, we could be here for the rest of the podcast. You don't have the time, I don't have the time. So I whittled it down to some key selling points. Honestly, this girl is an absolute catch. If you like your girls nice and slender, I would definitely advise not to look at her cankles, okay, guys? They're honestly a sight to see, especially when she's rocking those sliders. But if that's your cup of tea, then you'll be a very happy boy, guys. Talking about cups of tea, as a potential lover, you will most definitely need to be able to make her a brew. This is a non-negotiable requirement for my friend, as she loves to slurp a few cuppers daily. And of course, it must and only be Yorkshire tea, as she knows and I know everything great comes from Yorkshire. To give you guys a bit more of an insight into what she usually likes, let's say she was in the villa, she'd probably step forward for a mixed race guy, tall, but honestly guys, give her a few double vodkas and she'll go home with almost anyone, especially if she thinks you're cool or edgy. But don't even let this stop you, because recently she's developed a thing for bald guys. So honestly guys, just shoot your shot and you'll probably be successful. But don't worry, even when she's intoxicated on the dance floor, you'll be able to see her grooving away till 2, 3 a.m. because I'm so happy to say she no longer moves like a fish out of water due to some essential dancing lessons from yours truly. But don't worry guys, the days of her knocking her teeth out are long behind her when she was drunk, but I'll leave that one there. I'll let her explain that one for you. And guys, look no further. If it's intelligence you're seeking, then you'll be blown away with what she achieved at her undergrad degree. But hey, who am I to comment? I spent 6 years at uni. But honestly guys, I'm almost done. She's my closest friend. She's like the older sister I never had. She's probably more like a mother to me, to be honest. And she's got an absolute heart of gold. If you fancy her after all of this, then good luck to you.
That is horrendous. And also he's the biggest cock block ever. I'm sorry, I thought these were meant to be nice. But it's true. I actually received a birthday card from him, and it was like, happy birthday, look after the cankles. Like, it's a running joke. To be honest, I do I do have cankles, so it makes me sound severely overweight, but I'm not. It's just it's the way my body is. I'm sorry.
It's just concentrated.
You don't love me at my worst, you don't deserve me at my best. It's funny because everything that he said sort of aligned with what I said.
It's really nice when that happens. It shows that, I don't know, they know you well. And
yeah, and at least you know I'm not lying.
Exactly.
Now.
It's a truth checker.
It's all true, baby. Oh, that was so nice. Well, the end of that.
Yeah. Lots do that. They like at the end they just are like, oh, actually I'll just like
right.
tail it off,
soften the blow slightly. She's not that bad, and I can't because I'm that fat.
Final section, this or that.
Yeah.
Are you ready?
I am.
Go with your gut feel. Easy one to start with. Still or sparkling water?
Still.
Rather wake up naked in a forest 5 miles from home or in your underwear at work?
At work, so my cankles are out.
Yeah, I guess like at least you know how to get home and you're not completely naked.
Yeah, and also your friends, if they, I mean, as I say, I'm over familiar with my colleagues, so I'd be like, can you just give me a t-shirt? My Hans, who's got a t-shirt for me?
Yeah, that's funny. Okay, iOS or Android?
iOS. Android is an ick. No. No. And the emojis on my sister has an Android, and the emojis are just so different to the iOS.
Yeah.
And I just can't, they're horrible.
Yeah, no.
And also green texting people, it just makes me think I'm in the dark ages, like texting my gran.
It's crazy how much of a turn off that is to me. Like, if you fire one off and it's green,
yeah, you're like, I'm like, no. It's like anytime I match someone on Hinge, and if I get their number and I text them, or I'd WhatsApp usually, but there's some scenarios where I would just go to, because it's like easier because you can just send message rather than say, because I don't save all my Hinge honeys contacts, because I'll talk them to them a day and then I'll be like, okay, bye. So sometimes I just do the send message thing.
Yeah.
Straight to what I hoped would be iMessage, and it pops up and it's not.
Yeah, and then it looks like you've been really formal as well, because you sent like a proper text message instead of an iMessage.
It does. It feels so formal, doesn't it?
So they're probably thinking, oh, who's this retro chick?
Yeah. And it's also like when like O2 texts you and it comes up green.
Yeah.
It's like, that's the vibe it's giving me. So definitely, no, I'm going iOS.
Good. Be caught liking your ex's Instagram pics or your partner's ex's Instagram pics. So that's actually quite hard to break that down. Did you get it?
So it's either my ex's pictures or it's my new partner's ex-girlfriend.
Yeah.
Okay, well, definitely the ex.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think that would be
because your
so
partner's
awkward.
Like current. It could be really awkward. They'd be like, "Why are you looking?"
Yeah, that is horrifying. And I also think chances are they're probably still in contact. Like, maybe it's not like, actual contact, but they would feel comfortable texting each other, especially at our age. We've got to be mature, haven't we? Like, we can't burn bridges like we used to. So I feel like chances are they're probably okay with each other. And I've actually got a story which I can tell. So
You sound so happy about this.
I just thought it was so funny. So my ex-boyfriend he texts me like ever so often, and it's like general catch up, and I actually went on LinkedIn one day and it said like when it's like anonymous and it's like you click on it but you can see the companies, so you don't see who it is at the company, but if you click, so I clicked on the top company and it was a school, and I was like, why would somebody from school be stalking my LinkedIn? So I clicked on it and it was like, someone from your school like this, meaning as in where we went to university, and I clicked on it and it was her. So his ex-girlfriend had been stalking me on LinkedIn. This was only like 3 months ago, and I was actually more embarrassed for myself because of my LinkedIn picture was so terrible. So I was like, she must think I'm so ugly and he's got an absolute upgrade now.
What a crazy medium to use, LinkedIn.
I thought, and do you know what? I went straight onto her page, so she'd get the same request and know that I've seen it. I was like, hee hee.
Football or rugby?
Football.
Easy. Lose your keys or your phone?
All keys.
Yeah.
Definitely keys. I can just climb through a window. And also, surely a locksmith costs less than replacing an iPhone these days.
Oh, 1,000,000%.
Yeah.
Just getting your keys changed would cost way less.
So I could probably lose 10 sets of keys for the cost of an iPhone. I'll be throwing them off my balcony.
Yeah. You can just get another one cut for like £3.
Yeah, exactly.
Last one, easy one. Sausage or bacon?
Oh, that's not easy.
That's not easy.
I reckon sausage.
Okay. I didn't even think of that when I made these. She goes for the sausage. I would go for the sausage as well. So don't worry.
I told you about my saucy roll earlier. I love a sausage sandwich or a sausage bap or anything with sausage, like bangers and mash. Everything.
I have sausage pasta as well.
Yeah, see, I've never done that.
Oh,
I've never been
so
a sausage
good.
pasta kind of girl, but
No.
I could probably appreciate the beauty of it.
I call it sexy pasta.
Oh, nice. Need to try it.
It is sexy. Yeah. And that concludes the podcast. Do you have any last words?
Thank you for having me. It's been it's been great. I'm really hot right now. I've got like, when you go out and you have alcohol blush, so my cheeks go, and whenever I have like a drop of alcohol, my cheeks are like bright red. I feel like that now. Am I?
No, it's fine.
No, but it was brilliant. Thank you for having me. And cheers, Dave, for being a shit friend.
Nice.
If this week's character sounds like your cup of tea and you want to see if your dancing skills are up to scratch, head to the Instagram @SingleSounds to let me know you'd like to date this character. That's all from me. Thanks for listening. Have a great week and see you next Tuesday.